how's things with you? You're
Very good, thanks. And yourself?
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Brilliant. How's the rest of the band?
Yeah, they're doing all right. Yeah, just rehearsing at home, I think, for the up and coming tour.
We'll go on to the tour very shortly. Chelsea's been around since the mid 1970s, and what would you say was the secret of you guys all staying together and having the longevity within the band?
Well, I think Gene's the main man. Gene's kept it going. It's like Nick's left and come back a couple of times. This is my second time in the band, and Rob, the guitarist, he's just rejoined the band, so it's his second time. But Gene's kept it together. He just kept going. I think his philosophy is just to keep going.
Oh, brilliant! With that, what would you what was it like in the 70s and 80s and 90s within the band? What was it like touring? Did you all get along? Was there some fun things which happened whilst?
Yeah, I mean, in the 90s we did some big tours in the 90s. The Alternative tour and the Traitors Gate tour. They were massive ones. The Traitors Gate tour in particular was about 50 shows. And they were pretty much back to back. I think we had 2 days off. One day we were recording a single in German. Gene was singing the lyrics in German. And the other day off, I think Nick had to fly back for a dentist appointment. So, but yeah, it was pretty full on the Traitors Gate tour, 50 dates back to back.
Yeah, it's great talking to musicians and artists like yourself, which have been on the scene for so long, because like I got into music in the big way in the late 70s when I was a very little child. One of the things which I loved more than anything was going with my dad and my brother looking for vinyls. So it's
looking for what?
Vinyl records.
Oh, vinyls.
Yeah.
What, you said rhinos?
Oh, right. Well, as a child, I was. Yeah, I didn't have too many of them, mind. But it's great hearing the stories from artists about the fun things which used to get up to, especially back in the 80s and 90s. Now you got, I don't think it's the same for touring artists.
Well, I think the touring process is pretty much the same. You know, you'll get in the back of the van and hit the walk button, and then you get out in 1977 at the next venue. You know, it's pretty much the same. You know.
Yeah, brilliant during these things. So, your last album release was in 2021. Was it difficult recording and releasing the album during the pandemic? And what difficulties did you go through?
Well, I mean, we'd written the songs on tour, a lot of them on tour, so that was 2019. So we'd planned to record the album, and the date we had, I think, got cancelled because we usually go in and rehearse. We do it usually at least 6 rehearsals before we go in to record it for real.
Yeah.
But I think we got 1 4-hour rehearsal in, and then it was lockdown. So we were thinking, ooh, you know, is the date going to get moved to the studio? Yeah. And I think what happened is we went into the studio and then we got locked down again. So we had to reschedule the dates, and then the same happened with the mixing as well. We were supposed to, as soon as we'd finished recording the album, we had some dates booked for the mixing, and they had to be postponed till the end of the year. So got finally released April 2021, like you said.
Was there much pressure during that period from the label, or did they fully understand and give you as much leeway
No,
as possible?
the label are great. Plastic Head and Westworld, they they totally understood with the pandemic, and the thing was if there was going to be any delay, then we'd wait for the next release date. But
Yeah.
we kept it pretty much to how we wanted it. So it came out Easter last year. So
Brilliant album.
pretty much on time.
It's not on the website anymore, but my review was very, I think it was in the 9s, to be honest. I think it was about 9.2, something like that, out of 10. Brilliant.
Yeah,
album.
I mean, we were really pleased with it, especially with the recording, with the pandemic going in and out there, because we could only have 2 people in the studio at one time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we weren't all in the studio at the same time, which was strange, The drummer had he had the isolation room behind closed doors, so he was in his own room. Me and the guitarist, we were in the mixing room, doing all the guide stuff until we'd got the backing tracks done. So it was weird, and the same with the pledges as well. We had people who pledged on the album came down to do backing vocals, so we had to do them 2 at a time. But yeah, we got there in the end.
That's wow, I didn't know that. So I take it, is it like through Patreon, or was it like crowdfunded?
Yeah, it's a similar kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, basically, we said it was going to be the last studio recording album, basically. So we thought we'd get the fans to get involved if they wanted to. They could pledge, and they could have a signed guitar. I think Nick had 2 guitars that we were using in rehearsals. All these different things that you could get, signed CDs, signed vinyls. And one of them was to come down to the studio and do backing vocals. So we had about 10 pledges came down.
Can you remember which song they were doing the backing vocals on?
They did quite a few. It's all the ones with the gang vocals.
Right.
Worldwide Domination was one of them. It has to have the gang vocal on there. So if you hear the gang vocals, I think they're credited for which songs they did as well on the album.
Oh, it's got to be amazing being a fan of a band and being able to be part of that album.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, this is it. This is what we thought we'd do. Something for the fans.
Brilliant. With the venues once again opening back up, opening the doors and tours, tour artists being allowed to go back into venues. Have you got any plans to tour mainland Europe, Germany?
No, not for Europe. I mean, we did try and book a tour for Europe. Because we're doing it's the 40th anniversary of the release of Evacuate, so we were going to do the Evacuate tour 2022, and we just couldn't get any dates for Europe. Europe's basically fully booked because of the pandemic. All the gigs that were booked were rescheduled. So we're hoping to get over to Europe next year, but we're doing UK shows this year. I think we've got about 8 festivals that we're playing, so we're quite looking forward to it. And the Camden Underworld as well, which will be it's basically our show, so we can play the full set. A lot of these festivals you get to play 45 minutes, but the Camden show will actually play the full set, the whole album in full, plus the classics.
Yeah. Talking about tour in the UK, are you excited to be able to get out and tour the new album? And what's your process when it comes to new albums and tours? Do you concentrate most of the set list on the new album, or is it like just one or two and then the hits?
Well, basically, what we're going to do for the Evacuate album is play the Evacuate album in full, and then all the classics. So you'll have I'm on Fire, Right to Work, The Loner. Yeah. So that's basically the plan. So we basically when we went in, we recorded an album in December, which basically the live set of what we'll be doing this year. We thought, because we wanted to record a live album, but we didn't know with the pandemics whether things would get cancelled or what. So we thought, well, we're doing this anyway. So we went in the studio and recorded it. So that's basically how we'll be playing it.
Do you think you'll be in the near future doing a live album, recording the live album, or is that now off the?
Well, I think we've pretty much done it. Like I said, we were going to do it, so it's pretty much live in the studio. I mean, there's no overdubs. It's basically as we play it live. So it's kind of quite raw, and it's not like a studio polished sound. It's basically raw and how we do it. So this new album that's coming out on the 10th of April will be it.
Is that your process when you go into the studio? Do you record it in a live scenario where the old band just plays the song and record it? That's your process.
That's how we do it. Yeah, and I mean it's similar to the studio albums where we get the best take of the drums. Yeah. I think the drums we did pretty much on the first take. I think there was one or two that we did a second take. Yeah. And the bass guitar, I think I did that in record time. I think I did 4 hours it took me to do the bass. But I mean, it's only a set, so it's only an hour. Yeah. An hour and a bit long. So and the same with the vocals as well. I mean, Gene was just brilliant. He came in and did his vocals in about three or 4 hours. Wow. It's pretty much one take stuff. And the same with the guitars. There's a little bit more work with the guitars because there's two, and some of Nick and Rob hadn't decided which parts they were going to do, so that they took a little bit longer. But then we had the backing vocals, and then the mixing, which it was pretty much along the board because it was a live album in the studio. It was pretty much the same settings all for each song. So we recorded 17 songs, recorded and mixed them in 5 days. Wow. So that was some pretty motoring going, but brilliant,
Yeah. Finally, before I let you go, what plans going forward is there for Chelsea? Is it just you're focusing on the tour in the future, or do you have plans in the future to go back into the studio?
No, I mean, I think we've got so much stuff out now. We're going to tour the Evacuate album this year in UK. Hopefully next year we'll get to Europe and do some more of that. And then who knows, the following year we'll probably do a completely different set, get some songs off Meanwhile Gardens and Mission Impossible, and mix it about a bit and do something new for the fans.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, this has been an absolute pleasure. I'll let you get off and do whatever you need to do for the rest of the day.
Great stuff. And, cheers.
And I hope to see you. I'll have to speak to Andy, but I hope to come down and see you down in Camden.
Let us know and we'll stick you on the guest list.
Oh, amazing. That's brilliant. So thank you once again, and speak to you soon.
Nice one. Good to speak to you.
And yourself. Cheers.
Take it easy. Over and out.
Okay, bye.